Yep. So I'll just quickly walk you through the primary differences between the 450 and the 411. This particular 411, and you guys get to decide whether you should go in for this or you should go in for that. Let me make one thing clear. This is a complete package. This is any given day as a bike, as a complete package, any given day better than the 411. There's no doubts about it. There's no two ways on that. There's only one clear winner here, and that is the 450 in terms of what the 450 has to offer as an all-rounder. But we'll get into the specifics today. My channel is all about the specifics, and I would highly appreciate it if you guys just listen to this, if you guys hear me out. It could be a big game changer for all of you fellows who are still confused as to whether you should get the 450 or the 411. So, yeah. So we start off with the 450. We'll talk about how the 450 performs in comparison to the 411 and what's good about the 450. Then we'll move on to what's good about the 411. Yeah, so we'll start off with the 450, and the 450 is this is about a month and a half or 2 months of testing, outright testing. I've been running this machine for about 4 or 5 months now. That aside, a month and a half of outright testing, back to back, just to give you guys this video, in all honesty. And so here goes. The 450 stands at 50% better suspension for spirited riding. What I mean by that is this suspension can take care of these things and keep you completely unaffected by it. As long as it is mild modulations, undulations, a lot of just bad patches of road. This thing can take all that for, like a joke. This thing is very good at high speed traction. Very good at high speed traction, primarily because of the suspension setup. Unbelievable suspension setup from the factory. Literally unbelievable. One has to give it off to Royal Enfield for having put out a machine like this. Unbelievable. Just only one word. Thank you, Royal Enfield, for making these magic suspension components. Showa, I never really knew why people had such big opinions on Showa. It's because I thought WP would be better, but then riding Showa for so long, I am surprised. I'm surprised how well sprung this machine is. So for spirited riding, high speed spirited riding, 50% better suspension compared to the stock 411. Not Ben. We are only talking stock 411. If there is a direct comparison to Ben, I will let you guys know. 30% better suspension for casual riding. Now 30% in comparison to the stock 411 for casual riding. Even casual riding, these shocks are better. The stock Himalayan is amazing for casual puttering around, but these shocks just make it unbelievably cool and smooth for anybody and everybody. So that's the 30% better for casual riding, 50% better for spirited riding. Then comes better power for overtaking and cruising. Any given day, no doubts about it. This is any given day more power for overtaking and cruising. Then we have much better clutch, a much more easier clutch, a much more predictable clutch. So a much better clutch in the end. Again, that goes to the 450. Then we have stable engine performance, liquid cooled motor. So obvious, it has to be stable. It has to be, you need to be just completely forgetting your engine when you're on long rides and all that. You can't really be bothered about the engine's vibrations and temperature shooting up and business like that. So any given day, a much more stable performance from the engine in comparison to the 411. What else? Better fuel range in terms of tank capacity and mileage. Much better miles to the liter or kilometers to the liter. So any given day, another. So this returns about 32-34 kilometers per liter, and that's amazing considering it still burns lean and still does good. The temperature doesn't shoot up and still offers such fantastic mileage. So very good, smartly designed combustion chamber, I guess. So very good mileage, very good tank capacity, good range. That translates to good range. You can travel for at least 400 kilometers without worrying about fueling. What else? Much better brakes, much more intuitive brakes. We both of us ride without the ABS on, so yeah, for us it's definitely 2 or 3 steps above the 411, and so so many leagues ahead of the 411 in terms of braking. The 411 had one big problem, that was the front brakes, spongy, weak, zero feedback brakes. But this thing is just snappy, very good brakes. Not snappy, progressive and yet sharp. What else? Better seats. I like the seats. They are firm. They are they allow you to sit for longer periods without really, the foam sinking into the frame. So any given day, much better seats. What else? What else have I compared? Much better rear section. This rear section is the biggest plus point for me. Not the front. The front, you can definitely go about making it better in terms of feedback oriented riding, but the rear, oh my god, this is a planted elephant's ass on the road. That sticky, that forgiving, that planted, that stable. All kudos to the weight of the components, the suspension, the swing arm, the link type suspension. Unbelievable how they smartly introduced a link type into this kind of a suspension setup. Very, very smart, carefully engineered, and a big thanks to Royal Enfield for having done that. So a much more stable rear end. Much better rear shock, again, much better rear shock compared to the stock crap that comes on the Himalayan 411. Much better tires. My god, these tires are sticky as hell. They are magic tires. Unbelievable for a tread that looks like that. These tires offer such grip. So really impressed with the tires. And also because of the tires, you end up feeling that the bike is super stable and planted. It's partly 50% because of the tires. Fantastic standing up position for descents. What I'm talking about is very good stand up position for descents, because you have so much room. You have so much room to slide and hold the tank, go back without really your legs splitting, and that's a beautiful descent posture. An ascent posture, straight line posture, standing up, we'll talk about that. What's better? Obvious, right? That's better. What else? Holds the line much better for cornering business. 2117, unbelievable cornering ability for 2117. And if you just point and shoot at one corner, this bloody thing sticks to that really well, just like a sports bike. Much better instrument console is because of the simplistic design and everything that comes up. Well, this particular point alone is something which is debatable, but 99% of people I know would like something like that, everything integrated into one unit. So this instrument console, any day better for most people than that instrument console. More creature comforts, much better handlebar design, handlebar position, handlebar quality also is better. 2-3 falls already on Arun's motorcycle and my motorcycle. We still haven't bent the handlebar, and it's also partly because of there you go, he's already snapped his rubber bushing. So it's because of the rubber mounted handlebars that you very rarely would come across a handlebar bend if this were to have a fall. So that's the handlebar and a lot of creature comforts. That's as far as the 450 is concerned. This is what a 450 translates to. A 450 translates to a much more better Himalayan 411 because of these factors. It's because it's a much bigger, better, more advanced, more equipped, more capable package. And for anybody who thinks that you can shell out that much more money and go in for this, you guys should eyes closed get this fella. Now coming to the 411, what's good about the 411 in comparison to the 450? Again, guys, this is primarily me talking about the 411 versus the 450. We're not talking about Ben. Ben and this, we'll do a comparison some other day. And if I have some points here to compare, so be it. Yeah, so what's good about the 411? The 411 is the one and only torquey long stroke motor in the world on an adventure bike. That simply translates to effortless. One word, effortless. Throughout the RPM, until you start pushing it, until you want it to become a race machine, that thing is effortless. Effortless from the start to the finish, till the finish. You have absolutely no reason to worry about the 411 its ability to take on terrain. It can just putter along and cover ground easily without breaking a sweat. Treat it like a sprinter and you will start having issues. Yeah, so that's the most amazing thing about the long stroke motor, which is unique to this one bike alone. Surprising, Royal Enfield managed to nail it with a long stroke like this. This can do sand, this can do rocks, this can do anything. And just about anybody can do on this motorcycle. Anybody with any skill set can jump onto this bike and just eat all kinds of terrain for breakfast, lunch and dinner and start feeling like they are on top of the world. 450, a little more tricky to manage throttle. It's because this throttle has nothing in the lower RPMs. Very, very difficult to understand what's going on here is because it's also ride-by-wire. So there's this entire computer taking care of fueling. So yeah, a little tricky to understand how this works. But yeah, if you have enough experience, that's not going to be a problem. But in comparison, the 411, just the touch of the throttle and it starts eating everything for food. Unbelievable capable machine. Moving on to so a much more relaxing ride on the 411 compared to the 450. 450 asks for more. It wants you to start pushing. Then much more feedback from the suspension on the 411 than on the 450. The 450 is like a bed. It just takes care of things for you. You don't have to be affected by anything. The 411 offers a little more feedback. I'm talking about the stock 411. I'm not talking about this one in particular. The stock 411 offers a little more feedback in comparison to this motorcycle. It is plush, but it offers some feedback with which you can learn what's the right line, what's the wrong line, what is to be done, what is not to be done. This thing doesn't educate you as much as this motorcycle. Not this motorcycle, a 411. I have to keep letting you guys know that we are not comparing these two. So a stock 411 suspension has more feedback for you to learn from your mistakes. And so you can definitely become a good rider on the 411. More feedback from the chassis. Unbelievable. So one thing that I pointed out in my initial review of the 450 was how detached these foot pegs were from the body and the frame. So a rider who wants to grip onto the lower end of the motorcycle pretty hard is because the foot pegs are detached. You don't really feel connected to the body of the machine. Whereas here you're holding the machine with your lower part of the leg. That is your shin, your ankle, everything rests on the frame. And that foot peg design, any day over this foot peg design, as far as feedback from the chassis is concerned, from the bottom end of the motorcycle is concerned. So a much more flickable dancing machine. This can listen to your tunes. You can jump and dance and have lots and lots of fun. Whereas on the 450, a disconnected feeling. You don't really enjoy doing all of these things as much as you enjoy doing it on this motorcycle, because this stays engaged, highly engaging. Yeah, that's primarily because of the foot peg placements. Then better low end torque, of course. Better standing up ergonomics. So the sitting to standing transition is seamless on the 411. Takes a while to get used to on the 450. So again, the 450 has much better standing up ergonomics for the rear end. The 411 has much better standing up ergonomics for the front end. You can lean on the front comfortably on the 411, lean on the rear comfortably on the 450. Yeah, going up hills, the 411, going down hills, the 450. Interesting, huh? Well, that's my understanding. Easy to work on. My God, if I were to sell the 411 to anybody, that will be only for one reason and one reason only. This machine you can approach it with ease, without any intimidation, without any fear, and just can fix just about anything on this machine. Eyes closed, you can jump onto it, dismantle it to the last bit and put it back together without a worry. And that way, in comparison, so much more easy to work on. Yeah, much more playful because of the engaging nature of the machine, the way it gives you feedback. Attack ready stance. I love the stance of the 411. The 411 has so much more an attack ready stance compared to the 450. The 450 is more of a cruiser stance. The 411 is so much more of a let me climb onto obstacles kind of a stance. So the stance itself, the moment you stand up on the 411, you feel like jumping things. You feel like climbing over things. Whereas on the 450, you'd rather sit and tackle those things. So standing up, attack ready stance. Sitting down, comfortable cruising stance. Oh yeah, custom building these two machines. Well, both can be built to any extent depending on how much you know about making motorcycles better. But that being said, any given day, 6.5 years in the market or 7.5 years in the market, you have so much more of aftermarket support for that there's no end to how much you can do with that machine. So any given day, more custom build friendly. Simpler electronics. Another huge advantage is no sensor business. Bloody thing is just monitored and managed by sensors, and that is just 1 or 2 or 3 sensors at best, and you can get rid of half of them. So any given day, the fewer the electronics, the lesser the electronics, the more easier and the more predictable your machine becomes. If you really want an adventure bike, I strongly feel you should all be very good at the mechanics part of it. You should know what to fix if things go wrong. And a bike with lesser electronics will definitely be easier to work on if something goes wrong. The more the electronics, the lesser you understand what's wrong, and you're left with no choice but to call roadside assistance. And that's nonsense to me. A motorcycle that I cannot fix, that I cannot approach comfortably, is absolute nonsense to me. Yeah, but this isn't as difficult as it is made to look like or sound like. In comparison, I would any given day prefer a bike with much less electronics on it. Narrow profile. The bike is narrow profile, so much more trail friendly, so much more rut friendly, so much more tighter trails friendly. Goat path. This I'm not so sure. The bulky tank, the big stance, the big wide nature doesn't really give you the confidence to take it on really tight narrow lanes. Yeah, so that's the whole of it. That's my take on the two machines. I've tried to keep it as honest as I can, just so that you guys can make up your decisions. This is me. Make up your minds. This is me with about 5 months of experience on the two, and a month and a half of back-to-back testing between two of my machines. What is good, and I'm not trying to sell one or the other. I'm just trying to let you guys know that these are my findings and these are my observations. The rest is for you to decide. If this video helped in any way, it helped. That is all there is to it. I'm glad that you tagged along for so long. Continue tagging along. I will share more of my observations and my understandings of these machines to you. Until then, this is Ben signing out for now. Ciao.